Oh yay, Beltalowda. I hope everybody's having a great one. I want to say some major thank yous and some major welcomes, if that's even a thing. Can you say small welcomes? I feel like a small welcome will be like a hi. And I want to do big welcomes. Hello! So a quick recap, shall we? What's a belter? Well, if you're here, you are, at least for the time being. And we hope that you continue to be. Now, you can be a belter in the real world, you can be a belter in the verse. Most of us here are trying to do both. Let me explain. If I can, if I may, and I shall. Yeah. If you're familiar with the titular ghost knife of Callisto, it's about values. So this place kind of started to be just a safe space for people, similarly viewing the world perhaps, at least looking at some of our problems with the same lenses, in that we see, a different set of solutions required for some of the large macro issues. Climate change, any of the spin-off things are going to affect us from climate change. Really, we can just kind of leave it in there. There are problems in the proverbial social pipeline that are going to affect the macro. And if we know anything about the macro, they aren't all that well insulated against the consequences of the decisions of the very few. Now, of course, using a science fiction touchstone, the ghost knife himself wanted to virtue signal to our membership what our space was about. Turned out quite a few fucking people understood that. And they didn't just really understand it in sort of a perfunctory, okay, I see what this space is about. No, they took it and they ran with it. And we ended up doing a bunch of really wild and crazy things. We still are, but not in the sense of like, oh, we did these cool gameplay things. Now those happen in the verse. That's the whole point of having a gaming organization. But there's a lot more going on below the surface. There's also a lot more going on outside of that space, which got us thinking about how cool it would be to start bringing world war change in the form of whatever the fuck this is. The whole idea is, if we're in the verse, espousing these virtues, these larger than life grandiose things that are addressing the macro, that isn't really just occurring in a vacuum in the sense of the vacuum of the verse. This is space and stuff. And that when we're practicing that, when we're kind of embodying that in our downtime, so to speak, it's inevitable that we're going to bring those virtues into the real world. So when you see me here talking about these tangible real world changes, they start within our local communities. They start around our dinner table. They start in our lunchrooms. They start with us. And that's always the case. We're just using something a little bit different here, a different sort of vehicle to drive what the people here believe to be the solution. So what does it mean to be a member of Ghost Knife? What does it mean to be a belter? It means that you push yourself. Okay? Push yourself to be better than you were yesterday. And there's a great metric. If you can look in the mirror tomorrow, you probably did a good job today. Remember, the more you share, the more your bowl will be plentiful. May your convictions concern the consideration of others. And may solidarity not just be an afterthought. Tenye watch gut, Beltalowda. What do you think?